Hey, fourth grade friends, and welcome back to day 2 of making inferences and drawing conclusions in fictional texts. So like I said yesterday, we are going to be doing a read aloud together, and I'm going to be asking you some questions that requires you to make some inferences and draw conclusions as we read. You can just pause it when I ask the questions, so that way you have a chance to really think about it. My document camera can get a little bit blurry, so if you can't see the words, I am going to read it out loud, and I am going to try real hard to adjust it, but I'm sorry if it gets a little bit blurry on you. I'm going to go ahead and present my screen. There we go. And before we get started, let's just review making an inference. So when we make an inference, we go beyond what the author's words are saying to understand what is not said in the text. So it's taking clues from the text, what you know, like your background knowledge, and questions you have to make that inference. So today we're going to practice that skill by reading the Potato Chip Champ. So this is the Potato Chip Champ, and it's written by Maria Dismondy and illustrated by Dawn Beacom. So let's go ahead and get started. Remember, again, when I ask the questions, make sure that you pause it so you have a second to think about your answer before I give you my answer. All right. Champ loved potato chips. He ate them on his sandwiches. He crumbled them over his mac and cheese. He mixed them together with ice cream. Champ even dipped chocolate-covered potato chips in ranch dressing. If only his parents would let him eat them all the time. There was only one thing Champ liked more than eating potato chips, and that was playing baseball. He was a good player, and he knew it. Everything would have been perfect, except that Walter was on the team. So what can we infer about Champ's feelings towards Walter? And what evidence from the story shows you that? So we can infer that obviously Champ is not a big fan of Walter, doesn't like Walter very much, because he's saying that everything would be perfect, but it's not because Walter is on the team. So he doesn't like Walter, and we know that because he says that everything would be perfect if Walter was on the team. Walter Norbert Whipplemore, to be exact. He was always late for practice. His shoes were dirty. He rode an old broken down bike, and his name was too long to fit on his jersey. Walter was different, but the players on the team all liked him, except for Champ, who had a hard time figuring out why. Champ was shocked when he heard Coach announce the unusual fundraiser one day at practice. Champ knew he had to be the winner because the grand prize was a truckload of potato chips. All he had to do was sell the most boxes of chips to win. Champ noticed Walter was getting more hits than anyone else at practice that day. Everyone but Champ cheered for Walter. Champ rolled his eyes and groaned. So what can we infer about Champ's feelings towards Walter right now? So Walter's getting all of these hits, and you can see Champ over here with a very angry look on his face. We can probably infer that Champ's a little bit jealous of Walter because he's getting all of these hits and everyone's cheering for him. After Walter left, Champ met up with Tommy, the catcher. "Did you see how rusty Walter's bike is?" he sneered. Tommy barked back. "You just don't like him because he plays better than you, and he has more friends too." Ouch. At school, the boys talked about the fundraiser. "I sold 5 boxes at karate," cheered Tommy. I sold 10 boxes, lied Champ. Hey, Walter, you like chips too? How are you doing? Asked Tommy. I'm doing okay. I don't have as much time to sell the chips because I have a paper route, Walter added. Answering with a mouthful of dill pickle chips, Champ mumbled, Well, I plan on winning. They call me Champ for a reason. So when Champ says, Well, I plan on winning, they call me Champ for a reason. What can we infer about his character? We can infer that he's a little bit cocky, right? He's saying, It doesn't matter if you don't have time to sell because I'm going to win anyways. Like, I'm better than you. When Champ broke his leg sliding into home plate, he was devastated. He couldn't play ball for the rest of the season and would miss playing in the big game. Champ was so bored. He really missed playing baseball and seeing his friends. He started making up games by nibbling on his chips and making letters out of them. Just as he was making the letter C out of the barbecue chip, there was a knock at the door. Champ peeked out the window. Oh, it's Walter, he sighed. Walter was shivering from the cold rain. Hi, Champ. I brought over some cards. I heard you like to play, said Walter. Sure, if you really want to, Champ answered, wishing anyone but Walter had come over. Hey, why did you ride your bike here? Champ asked. Oh, it's just me and my mom. We either take the bus or I have to ride my bike. So Walter went out of his way to drive over in the rain to play cards with Champ. What can we infer about Walter's character? Walter was really nice to come over, right? He's being a good friend to Champ. We can also infer that maybe Walter doesn't have a lot of money because he said that his mom and him have to take the bus or ride his bike everywhere. Champ couldn't believe what he was hearing. Walter was the only kid he knew whose mom didn't have a car. He thought about how hard that would be to have to ride your bike everywhere. So it looks like Champ might be changing his mind about all of the negative things he said about Walter's bike or about Walter in general. It was the night of the championship game, and Walter made the winning hit. Champ wasn't sure which was worse, sitting on the bench or finding out his dream of winning the truckload of potato chips was over. They announced over the loudspeaker that the winner was Walter Norbert Whipplemore. And you can see over here, Champ's not very happy. Champ moped around school the next couple of days. Even his favorite tomato-flavored chips didn't cheer him up. If anyone loved chips as much as he did, Champ still wondered why the prize went to someone like Walter and not him. Walter Norbert Whipplemore. He had a name longer than the Mississippi River, and it didn't bother him at all. When Champ got home from school on Friday, there was a huge truck parked in his driveway, unloading box after box of chips for Coach and Walter. So what can we infer here? If Walter is here unloading the chips at Champ's house, we can make the inference that he's giving the chips to Champ. What are you doing? Asked Champ. I'm giving you all the chips, Walter smiled. Thanks, but before Champ could finish, Walter spoke. Look, I'm crazy about chips too, but you couldn't play ball, and it's hard to sell boxes of chips with a broken leg. I know what it's like to really want something. I want you to have the chips. But I don't deserve them, Champ stuttered. Right then, Champ looked around his garage and saw a brand new bike, 2 skateboards, a scooter, and fancy rollerblades. How come he didn't see it before? He felt a tightening in his chest. Champ had so much. Why did he always want more? Standing there in front of Walter was really hard. Walter didn't have anything but an old, rusty bike. So, what can we infer about Champ's character after reading this part about everything that he has? We can infer that Champ probably isn't feeling very good about making fun of Walter all of that time and judging his rusty bike and being rude to him. All right, we can split them, but I am not leaving here with all these chips, laughed Walter. Deal, answered Champ. You know, Walter, you're the one they should call Champ, because being a champ isn't about having the nicest things. It's all about who you are. No wonder you have so many friends. The boys shook hands, and that marked the beginning of a new friendship. So, what conclusion can we draw about the friendship between Walter and Champ? Right, we can probably draw the conclusion that they are going to continue to be friends and play baseball, and maybe Champ won't have such negative feelings towards Walter anymore because he gets to see who Walter really is. So, like I explained yesterday, your independent practice is on a choice board that looks like this. You can choose one of these per day, 2 if you like to do, and you can use Storyline Online to find some books to listen to or to read on your own to complete these tasks. There we go. So I hope you guys enjoyed Potato Chip Champ as much as I did. It's a great story about kindness, and I hope that maybe you can find some way to do an act of kindness for someone today as well. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.